Hello, everyone, and thank you so much for checking out our end-of-year wrap-up video. I'm Ava Agudelo, the founder and executive director of Hope's Harvest, Rhode Island. And on behalf of our entire crew this season, Molly Rose, Merle, Shannon, Deanne, and Sarah, I'd like to say a very warm welcome and thank you for all you've done to support Hope's Harvest and our mission of bringing fresh, local, healthy food to people in need. In a regular season, we would gather together in person at this time of year to share food and stories and warmth. This year, unfortunately, as we did in 2020, we're offering this season wrap-up video instead for all our volunteers and friends to view on their own time, that shares our accomplishments for the season, lifts up our volunteer superstars, delights with music and stories because we like to have some fun, and tells you a little about what Hope's Harvest has planned for the months and years to come. So welcome to our 2021 season wrap-up, and we hope you enjoy this as much as we've enjoyed being in the fields with you all this season. Hope's Harvest, Rhode Island acknowledges that it operates on the traditional, ancestral, and contemporary lands of the Narragansett, Nipmuc, Nyatic, Wampanoag, and Manassean Indigenous peoples. We honor these as well as the countless nations lost due to the imperialism and colonialism wrought upon them by white settlers. Native peoples then and now cultivate land and livestock in harmony, living in partnership with the natural world. Indigenous communities continue to suffer the effects of food insecurity, a byproduct of an industrialized food system and colonial state, limiting their access to traditional resources and knowledge that were cultivated for thousands of years. Increased access to quality food, self-determination, and food sovereignty for these communities has never been more important. Indigenous peoples embody their traditional relationship with the land and the abundance it provides. They continue to speak out and stand up in ways big and small to protect this sacred way of life. As an organization, we strive to listen, support, and act in solidarity with our Indigenous neighbors and teachers as we contribute to the food sovereignty movement. The values of Hope's Harvest, Rhode Island center on our commitments to honor the inherent worth and dignity of Indigenous communities, stand against systemic inequality, and stand up for food justice, food sovereignty, and the rights of all people to self-determination. This means strengthening our collective well-being by redistributing resources to those affected by systemic racism and colonization. We continuously strive to learn from and be accountable to the Indigenous peoples in our communities. This year, Hope's Harvest was honored to partner with the Tamaquag Museum and Indigenous knowledge keeper Stephanie Morningstar of the Oneida Nation to learn and uplift traditional seed and plant wisdom. The Tamaquag Museum, led by Executive Director Loren Spears of the Narragansett Nation, is a local organization run by Native leaders who offer a wide variety of educational programming about Indigenous food sovereignty and much more, and bring wonderful perspective and richness to our state. In the spring of 2021, we were honored to learn how to prepare traditional succotash by cooking along virtually with Loren. If you'd like to hear the traditional stories behind this dish and try your hand at making it, please enjoy the recording of this event and others on our YouTube page. If you're looking for a way to give back to the Native peoples of this land, to whom we owe so much more, we highly recommend you support the Tamaquag Museum's work however you're able. Please also continue to follow and learn from Stephanie Morningstar's work with Skyworld Apothecary and Farm, as well as with the Northeast Farmers of Color Land Trust, of which she is a founding member and director, and another meaningful organization to support monetarily. We strive to continue to learn and listen and grow our support for the First Nations people in the years to come. We welcome your partnership in this journey. We hope that when you're out gleaning with us, you pause to acknowledge the legacy of harm that has caused Indigenous peoples to be cut off from their ancestral lands. Consider how you can take action to support local Indigenous communities, learn more about the history of colonialism and the impacts it has to this day, and honor Native food wisdom as a healing path forward to a more just and equitable food system. We are incredibly proud of what we were able to accomplish for our community this year. In 2021, Hope's Harvest, Rhode Island recruited 415 volunteers, 333 of whom spent 2,052 hours rescuing 207,278 pounds of fresh, healthy, local fruits and vegetables from 34 farms across Rhode Island and southeastern Massachusetts, and distributed it to 26 hunger relief agencies serving over 35,000 individuals per month. In terms of pounds of food, we exceeded our amount of food recovered from last season at this time and have surpassed 550,000 pounds since 2018. That's over 275 tons. In addition to these numbers, we're also really proud to say we increased the number of farms we recovered food from 25 last season to 34 this year. And on the agency side, we had our first formal contract with the Rhode Island Community Food Bank, to supply them with produce for their 150 member agencies. Hope's Harvest also distributed in new and innovative ways, for example, with our partnership with Hasbro Children's Hospital. We contracted and purchased for twice as much surplus produce from local farmers this year, over $100,000 worth going back into our local economy. We also moved into our new home at the Farm Fresh Food Hub in the Valley neighborhood of Providence and acquired a second vehicle to handle smaller pickups and deliveries and increase our overall capacity. But we couldn't have done any of this without you. We were thrilled and incredibly grateful for the outpouring of volunteer enthusiasm for gleaning this season. We had so many new and returning friends come join us in the field to make all of this work possible. Last year, we had just over 100 volunteers join us in the field, and this year, that went up to over 300. It was truly awe-inspiring and a pleasure to work with such kind, dedicated, and hardworking people committed to helping their neighbors. All our volunteers, every single one, made it possible for families, children, seniors, and people struggling throughout this year to have fresh, healthy food on the table. Here are just some more of our favorite photos of you all showing off your favorite veggies, your excellent and practical field fashions, and generally making us smile with how happy and energized you all are by this work. From the bottom of our hearts, thank you, thank you, thank you. We want to specifically shout out our 2021 Glean Dream Team Top 22 volunteers who kept coming back trip after trip. Thank you to all the volunteers who always showed up, rain or shine. To all those volunteers who drove the extra mile to meet us, you helped us deliver food an extra mile. To those who volunteered their extra time to do pickups and deliveries in their personal vehicles, thank you. To everyone who has donated, volunteered their creative energy, attended our gleans and our events, thank you. We so appreciate you. There's so much to do all season long, and we were blown away again by the volunteers who went above and beyond. And I'd like to mention that this list is twice as long as it was last year, which is a testament to the sense of ownership and commitment our volunteers have for this work, which we're always trying to find new ways to honor and channel, because we know that the more this work rests in the hands of the community, the more sustainable and vibrant it will be over the long term. Every single one of you is invaluable to the mission of Hope's Harvest, especially in the face of the ongoing pandemic and climate change. The need for redistributing food to an increasing number of people facing food insecurity is imperative. This work brings joy and connection. It helps us build power together, strengthening our food systems and becoming more resilient. Most importantly, this work is fueled by real people like all of you, who are truly an ever-flowing fountain of inspiration, support, energy, and appreciation. Thank you. This season, we were able to start soliciting more feedback from volunteers about their gleaning experience, and what we heard was overwhelmingly positive. Here are some of our favorite quotes from our feedback survey. Fun and satisfying experience. Nice folks, nice cause, nice time. I learned something new every time I glean. The trip leaders share their knowledge and dedication so willingly. It's always a pleasure. Had an amazing time. Everyone was organized, friendly, efficient, and excited to be there. Can't wait to go back. Great cause and a good way to learn, get outside, and meet people. We were also deeply grateful for the feedback we received, which highlighted issues, challenges, or areas where we could improve, and welcome and encourage you to continue to provide that insight as well, both as this season wraps up and in your work with us in the future. We strive to be a learning organization, and your commitment to telling us how we can get better is a vital part of making that a reality. So thank you for your openness, honesty, and care in sharing your experiences with us. We know that our volunteers, friends, and supporters do this work with us because they know what a difference it makes. This past year, we've distributed over 200,000 pounds of fresh food to the agencies listed here. And as you can see, there's huge variation, from 100,000 pounds to the Rhode Island Community Food Bank, all the way down to the Coventry Friends at a mere 50 pounds. We're proud to serve a wide variety of agencies, and when we bring food to the food bank, we know they're also distributing it to their 150 member agencies. In fact, the food bank was able to tell us for the first time this year that the agencies who received food from us this season served a collective 35,000 people per month. Some of the smaller agencies down at the bottom of this list received food because of our partnership with Market Mobile and Farm Fresh Rhode Island, which increased our capacity even more this season. We've heard great things from our agency partners, including these lovely sentiments from We Share Hope and Hasbro Children's Hospital, both new distribution partners this year. Emily Crandall from We Share Hope says, through the work of Hope's Harvest, Rhode Island, we have been able to provide our partner agencies with fresh and delicious fruits and vegetables for their pantries, meal sites, and food deliveries to unhoused folks of Rhode Island. While fresh and healthy produce is so appreciated by our clients due to their high retail prices and so packed with vitamins and nutrients, it's not something we see as often as other food items. Hope's Harvest is providing a service that is unlike any other. There is dignity in receiving fresh farm quality produce, and it makes our clients feel like they're not just getting leftovers. It is empowering for those in need to feel like they aren't a burden to society and still have hope to get back on their feet. And Dr. Corcoran from Hasbro Children's Hospital said, we here at Hasbro Children's Hospital are so indebted to your staff for the wonderful fresh foods that we've been able to share with our families. They are thrilled with the food. One young patient of mine summed it up, delicious. While everyone is essential to our work, the farmers who do such an amazing job growing food are the ones that make all of this possible. Here are the top donors to Hope's Harvest this season. We're so grateful for their support and want to lift up their incredible work feeding our community so that our community knows who to support when it's time to go buy your apples and lettuce and squash when harvest time comes around again. Our local farmers are vital to our resilience as a Rhode Island community, and they need our continued patronage to do what they do. Hooray for farmer heroes. Because of our Hope's Harvest commitment to our local farmers, we were able to expand our contracts this year and spend $94,000 of funds we raised to support local growers who grow food for hunger relief. 30% of Hope's Harvest contracts in 2021 went to farmers of color, including Margarita and Teo Martinez and Movement Ground Farm, and we're committed to increasing that amount to at least 50% by 2023. In the same vein, we're still purchasing surplus from local farms to help ensure a steady supply of fresh food for our neighbors and support our local farm economy. So far, we've purchased about 72,000 pounds, and we'll continue to do that through the end of the year while our funds last. We're also raising funds for next year through various sources to keep this program going, and are able to make this happen via local foundations, some state and federal grants, and earned income from our contracts with the food bank and other agencies. It's an innovative model that other New England states are doing as well, and we would love to be able to continue it given how much value it provides for our economy and our community. Our goals for the next 2 years are to continue to nourish the Rhode Island community with fresh, healthy, locally grown produce, support local farmers' ability to thrive as essential contributors to a local food system that works for everyone, facilitate joyful volunteer investment in redistributing resources for the common good, ensure a strong and sustainable organization that provides exceptional value to Hope's Harvest stakeholders and has the capacity to achieve our mission and goals, and finally, to leverage our role and assets as an organization to advocate locally, regionally, and nationally for food sovereignty, racial justice, environmental sustainability, and the rights of all people to self-determination. As you can see, in these goals, we recognize our work for what it is, meeting basic needs, but also thinking big picture about how we can have a positive impact on the root causes of hunger and inequality in our communities. We hope you'll continue to be part of this important work as volunteers, partners, and cheerleaders as we head into uncertain and challenging times for all. No matter what comes, you can count on Hope's Harvest Rhode Island to work hard for our collective well-being. We're very proud to be able to share these values and goals with you, and hope you'll make time to visit us at hopesharvest.org to read more about what we've committed to accomplishing for our community in the near and far future. And speaking of advocating for our communities, we also wanted to share that this season we stepped up our efforts to partner with our local policymakers to raise awareness and visibility for programs like ours and others across the state that have been on the front lines of food security work well before the pandemic made these issues much worse. On the left is a picture of a field visit we did with the Rhode Island Food Policy Council and Senator Jack Reed. And on the right is a site visit we did with state lawmakers, representatives from the federal delegation, and our friends at the DEM and Commerce departments who are great supporters of our work and included Hope's Harvest in their recommendations for American Rescue Plan Act funding. We were also humbled to be featured on the cover of Edible Rhodey in the spring and the Providence Journal this past Thanksgiving, which ultimately brings more people to join us out in the fields rescuing food for our neighbors. With so much to look forward to, it's hard to be sad that the 2021 gleaning season is wrapping up, but not to worry. There's still plenty of ways to stay involved with Hope's Harvest over the winter and spring. We will continue to move food, albeit at a slower pace and smaller scale throughout the winter, and we'll keep you posted when trips become available. We find that word of mouth is how most people get involved with us, so if you enjoy working with us or admire what we do, please tell your friends and invite us to speak at your church Zoom groups or neighborhood meetings or the like. As we mentioned, we're committed to being accountable to our community and are always grateful for feedback on how we can improve. Keep an eye out for a feedback survey in the next couple of months, and don't hesitate to continue to send feedback our way via the contact form on our website or the links provided in our newsletter. And please, if you're able and willing, let your legislators know that Hope's Harvest is near and dear to your heart, and you'd like to see it supported by public funds. Finally, our work is made possible in part by the support of our volunteers, friends, and champions, and we hope you'll consider making an end-of-year gift to Hope's Harvest Rhode Island. You can find out how to give either online or by mail at hopesharvest.org/donate. Last but absolutely not least, we need to acknowledge our phenomenal team this season. None of this would be possible without them, and they stepped up like the superheroes they are, with grace, humor, fortitude, and true grit. They made this work happen, and I know they would say that the relationships with the volunteers, farmers, and agencies are what made it all worthwhile, along with knowing that they made a huge difference for their community. Continuing our tradition from last year, we wanted to give the Hope's Harvest team a chance to tell you in their own voices what made this season so special to them.
Hello everyone, I just wanted to quickly express my gratitude of this entire season to all of you. We've accomplished so much in this 2021 growing season with so many pounds of food recovered and delivered to those in need, and I just think it's amazing. And Hope's Harvest couldn't have done it without everyone along our sides. To all of our amazing volunteers and farmers and agencies that we work with, thank you so much for making it easy to work with you guys. You are such a delight to work with, and it's great that we're able to accomplish so much with you guys sharing our mission with us. The season flew by for me. I hope it did for you guys as well. And it was amazing to take part in such fulfilling work and know that at the end of the day, what I was doing had so much purpose, and feeling that purpose on a daily basis. And so it's been so amazing for me to be a part of Hope's Harvest. I'm so grateful for the opportunity and to work with such amazing people. And a lot of my favorite memories this year have been hanging out and getting to know a lot of the volunteers and making jokes. Thank you for laughing at my jokes that maybe weren't that funny all the time. But thank you for making it such an enjoyable experience and being so funny and getting a good kick out of whatever we were doing in the field that day. I really appreciate it, and I cherish those memories. But what I'm going to take away the most from this season, I think, is just being surrounded by so many gracious, intelligent, caring people who all share the same goal as Hope's Harvest, to reduce food waste and help our neighbors in need. And so I'm super grateful to be surrounded by such amazing people this year. So thank you for all that you've done, and happy holidays, and I hope to see you all soon.
So this gleaning season has been super amazing for me. I think I've learned so much, and I've just had so much joy in being outside with all of you. I really want to thank the farmers for generously and graciously allowing us into your space, and also the agency partners for doing the same, and also just teaching me so much and inspiring me with all the good work that we're all doing, sometimes separately, but most often together. And with the volunteers, it's been so good, guys. I have had the best time just digging up vegetables or picking leaves or pulling from trees. And I think there's just so much about gleaning that's not controllable to us. It's all up to chance, the rainfall or the temperatures. But what we can control is how we interact with one another, and I really appreciate how welcoming everyone was to each other, and also to me when I first started. And even now, I feel really supported and buoyant with all of you. So yeah, thank you for everything.
Thank you so much, everyone who came out this season. You made my last season gleaning with Hope's Harvest so worthwhile. Some of my favorite memories were waking up really early in the morning, despite the rain, despite the heat, despite all of the factors, you guys all still came out always smiling and ready to glean. Made my job so much easier and gave me something to look forward to every day. So I want to thank all of the volunteers, farmers for having us out, and for agency partners who received our food and so graciously thanked us for what we did. I can't thank all of you enough for letting me be part of your lives for even such a glimpse in time. So I really appreciate all of you.
Hello, it's Molly Rose, Hope's Harvest Operations Manager. I have had such a joyful season working with our amazing staff and volunteers and partners, farmers, and agencies. I feel so grateful to know there's so much support and movement around this gleaning work, and it's been such an honor to witness the care, strength, and love that each one of you holds, and the meaning and richness you bring to the harvest and the distributions, the squash and apples that we eat and the potatoes we rescue from the fields. One of my literally sweetest memories was sharing fresh honeycomb with Teo and Margarita Martinez straight from their hive after a particularly long and hot harvest day. And it's just moments of pause like these that allow me to collectively appreciate and celebrate our connection with the earth and with each other. And it's a pleasure to reflect back on such a special season with all of you, with all of my heart. Thank you.
Hi, Hope's Harvest friends. This is Ava here to tell you about my favorite moments from this season. I'd have to say that really any time I was able to go out into the field was a real high point for me. I don't get out very much, and it's just such a pleasure as a founder to see how much of a sense of ownership and expertise and commitment all of our volunteers and our team have. And every time I get to go out into the field and just see it all working together like a finely oiled machine, it's just such a delight to see how much people love the work and how much people are great at doing the work and are just experts at this that we started not that long ago. You know, it's just our 4th season, so it feels like it's really taken on its own legs. And, you know, going out and digging beets with Deanne was really great, and going and picking corn, you know, and all those different little moments. But I think my favorite thing was just seeing how you've all taken this project on and made it your own. And that's really special and lights me up and makes my heart happy. So thank you. Finally, we're going to wrap up with a song from Merle, Shannon, and Deanne.
Inch by inch, row by row, gonna make this garden grow. All it takes is a rake and a hoe and a piece of fertile ground. Inch by inch, row by row, someone bless these seeds I sow. Someone water them from below till the rain comes tumbling down. Pulling
Thank you for joining us in the fields or however you were able to this season, and we hope to see you again in one way or another in 2022.